today when we talk about odds, it's just another way to talk about the likelihood of an event happening. But you're going to be really careful. Because if they say the odds are 1 to 20, that you're going to be in the first group of kids eating lunch today, that does not mean it's going to be 5%. It does not mean the same thing. In other words, 1 over 20 is equal to 0.05, which is 5%. So if I say to you the odds that you're going to be at the front portion of the lunch line today, the odds are in favor of you being in the front row lunch line, 1 to 20. That really means this. You have a 1 chance of being there versus 20 and not. So in reality, there's 21 things going on. You can be, I'm saying you have one chance of being in the front group of kids getting lunch today, but you also have 20 chances of not being there. So altogether, we're talking about 21 things that are actually happening. So the odds in favor of an event describe the likelihood the event will occur. So if it's given to you like this, the odds are 1 to 20, that 1 is the likelihood that it's going to happen. The 20 is the likelihood that it's not. So when we talk about odds, we have to make sure that we're understanding, are we talking about odds in favor? So the number of, when it's odds in favor, we're talking about the number of ways an event can happen. And then it is divided by the number of ways it can fail to happen. And another typical way, and this is the way they typically write it, instead of as a fraction, typically you will see odds written as a ratio with using the colon rather than the fraction mark. So you know how we can write a ratio with the colon in between the two numbers side by side rather than writing them as a fraction. We have different ways to write it. And typically that's how you're going to see odds written. So when it's odds in favor, the A is the number of ways the event can happen. B is the number of ways it would fail to happen. When it's odds against, now the B and the A trade places. The B is upstairs, the number of ways the event can fail to happen, over A, the number of ways the event can happen. Okay, so if I changed it to this, if I said to you, the odds against you getting in the front group of kids in the lunch line today is 1 to 20. Okay, listen carefully to me here. The odds against you getting in the group in the front of the line for lunch today is 1 to 20. Are you going to be in the front of the line or not, according to those odds?
Probably not.
Hear me again.
Yes.
Odds against. Number of ways it can fail
Yes.
to happen versus the number of ways it can happen. So if I stated the odds against you being at the front part of the line in lunch today are 1 to 20, there's a 1 chance that it's going to fail to happen, and there's 20 chances it will.
Yes.
So you're going to probably be at the front of the line if those are the kinds of odds, right? So we have to be able to kind of process this properly. Okay, so let's do this one. We're going to go through this example just to make sure that we understand it before we start practicing. We're going to convert from odds to probability in this one. The odds of winning a game are 3 to 7. What is the probability of winning the game? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to determine the number of ways you can win and the number of ways to not win. So they say that if the odds of winning a game, that's really important how you read it. The odds of winning a game are 3 to 7. They're stating it as the first number is the ways to win. That means the 7 is representing there's 7 ways not to win. Okay? So are you likely to win? No, this one you're probably not likely to win. Okay. Step 2, find the total number of outcomes. Add the ways to win and the ways not to win to get a total number of outcomes. So in other words, there's 10 possible things that can happen here. 3 ways to win, 7 ways to not win. Altogether, there are 10 ways. So we're not going to find the probability by setting up the fraction 3 over 7. What is 3 over 7, by the way? Would you divide that on your calculator and tell me what probability that is? What's the probability of 3 sevenths?
0.03.
0.428574.
4.28, yeah, so it's about 0.43, which is about 43%, right? So about, you have about a 43%, that's the probability of winning. Okay, but that's if you do it wrong. Find the probability, because, here's what you have to do, because the way to win equals 3, remember we always put upstairs, what are the possible ways I can get it to happen what I want to happen? Well, there's only 3 in this case, out of the total number of outcomes, which in this case is 10, so notice what the real probability is. It's 30%, not 43. Okay, so you have a smaller chance of winning than you even might have thought. 3 out of 7 isn't how we do it. We have to do 3 out of 10. Okay.
So do you have to do that on all of them? Like when we're gonna do them, do we always have to add them together?
Yeah, they talk about it as odds, and you have to find the probability. Yes. Okay. Let's look over at the other side now, where it says convert from probability to odds. Stay with me. Convert from probability odds. So in other words, they give you the percentage. They tell you, oh, this is the probability percent. What were the odds in this first place? So if the probability of winning a game is 10%, does that mean the odds would be 1 to 10 of winning? No, it's not going to turn out that way. What are the odds in favor of winning the game? Well, rate of probability is a fraction. We're going to say, okay, well 10% means 1/10. And then we're going to find the number of ways to win and not win. So the numerator is the number of ways to win. Remember, upstairs is always what do we want to happen? There's one way for you, we want to win, and there's one way for that to happen according to this. One way to win. And then downstairs we always have the total number of outcomes. So that 10 downstairs is representing the total number of outcomes. Well, if we've already decided that one of them is the ways to win, how many ways are left to lose? Or not to win? 9. We have to take that 1 away from the 10 and we get the 9. So the odds are not 1 to 10, but rather they are 1 to 9. Remember, in odds we add them together. 1 way to win, 9 ways not to win. Altogether there's 10 ways. So if the probability was 10%, this is the odds. Okay. They will not match up. In other words, you can't do 1 divided by 9 and get the same answer as if you did 1 divided by 10. Okay, let's start doing some practicing here. This is number 6 because it's really carryover from yesterday. The odds in favor of winning a game are 1 to 20. Oh, this sounds like our lunch one. What is the probability of winning the game? What are we going to do?
You have to add 20 and 1 together.
Okay, first thing we have to do is, how about we do this in our notes so that we understand what's going on. Let's say that 1 represents what? Is that the winning or not winning? Odds in favor of winning a game are 1 to 20.
1.
So 1 is winning, right?
20 is losing.
And 20 is not winning, or losing, I guess you could say. Okay. So let's first identify what does that ratio even tell us. It tells us there's 1 way to win, it tells us there's 20 ways not to win. So what's the probability of winning the game? 1 over 20?
No, you need to add them.
Okay. Add those guys together. 1 plus 20 equals
21.
21. So there's 21 ways altogether. We want to win. So we got to put the 1 upstairs and the 21 downstairs. And we're going to do just like we did yesterday now. Divide that out and get a percentage. Because it wants the probability of winning. So 1 over 21 is approximately what percent?
47.
No, 4.8%.
Oh, yeah, 4.
Okay, so about 4.8% round to the nearest 10. Okay. Okay, I want you to do something for me. I want you to tell me what would the probability have been if we did that 1 over 20?
Oh, I just figured like there.
5%. Yeah, so they don't come out exactly the same, do they? The other one came out to 4 point something, and we got all these digits, and this one came out to exactly 5 when we after we multiply it by 100. So they're not gonna match. And notice it got lower, didn't it? So maybe we'll keep that in mind. Is that a pop? Is that something that we can probably count on? Okay, questions on that one? Okay, I want you to try the next one on your own then, number 7. The odds in favor of getting tickets to a concert are 4 to 5. Write down all the things like we did. What does that 4 tell us? What does that 5 tell us? Because the more you identify all of those pieces, the more successful you will be with this. Okay, do you agree with me that the probability in fraction form is 4 ninths? Okay, and we just learned over here.
44 and 4
44 and 4 ninths percent.
Oh, it is
up there.
I'm trying to find it, but I couldn't see it. Maybe yours just.
Maybe that was it. That is exactly 44 and 4 ninths percent. Okay, now, notice, you have to be really careful that you're reading it carefully. This one said, in favor of getting tickets to a concert. In favor of, they're telling you what the first number is representing.
So you 44 for no chance of getting a ticket.
So you had, when it's in favor of getting tickets to a concert, this 4 right here represents you getting the tickets, okay? And then that means the other number, the 5, has to be not getting the tickets. So in reality, that's kind of like the thing we don't want to happen. We want to get tickets. Okay, number 8, the odds against winning a contest. The odds against winning a contest is 98 to 1.
You have a 90.
How are we going to describe those numbers?
You have a 98%, or you have a 98 chance.
98 ways to do what?
Not.
Okay, 98 not winning,
And 1 chance to win.
and 1 way to win.
You're still out like you would before.
Yeah, still add them. So right now, all we're doing is figuring out what do the two numbers really tell us in that ratio. And then we say, okay, well, I gotta add them together so I know how many there are all together. 99, and then I have to look at the question they're asking. What is the probability of not winning the contest? So what number is going to go upstairs?
98.
98. There are 98 ways of not winning out of 99 total.
So it'd be 99%. So it's not repeating really.
Okay, what's it doing? What's it say?
It's 9 or 98. I took it times 100. 9.
So it's 98 keeps repeating is what's really going on. And so that one we don't know what fraction that necessarily represents. So we are going to just round this one to the nearest 10. What is it?
Yeah, it'll be 99.
Oh, it's 98. 90, it'd be 99.0. That's how you round. You can have 0 tenths. In other words, we have to round that to a 10, and the 10 rounds to 98 to a 99. Okay, so it's approximately 99.0%. So questions, so you need to ask it now if you're not understanding what we're doing. So take the time in your homework. I'm not going to sandpaper tomorrow without you doing what we're doing right now. We are first describing what are those numbers representing, and then we can go from there. Okay, now we are going to do the opposite. They're going to give us the probability, and we have to work back to the ratio.
I think I know how to do this one.
Okay, so the probability of choosing a marble is 60%. What are we going to do first?
It's 6 over 10. You put it in
6 tenths, which, by the way, doesn't that simplify? Let's just simplify it right away.
3
This is really it starts out as 60 over 100, right?
Yeah, then you simplify it
And then you can
3/5.
simplify it to 6/10, and then you say, I can still simplify it again to what? 3/5. Okay, so we got 3/5. Okay, now it says the probability of choosing a blue marble is 60%. What are the odds? This is important stuff here too. What are the odds in favor of choosing a blue marble?
You subtract 5 from 3 after we reduce it. Because upstairs we subtracted 10.
Okay, what's that?
No, it
What's
was
that?
5 subtract 3.
Yeah, that's what I just said, because I should have subtracted it now.
Let's just figure out what the 3 and the 5 are telling us here, because this is probability, you guys. So what's the 3 telling us? What's that 3 upstairs telling us? The probability of choosing a blue marble is 60%.
There's 3 ways it could happen and 5 ways it
There's
could not.
3 ways it can happen. So this is the 3 is representing choosing blue, isn't it? Because that's what we wanted. We wanted to be choosing blue, so that's what the 3 says. The 3 tells us there's 3 ways to choose blue. What does the 5 tell us?
Not choose.
No?
Or the number of.
In probability.
Total number.
Total ways. So downstairs, this is the total ways. And then we're gonna get to what you wanted to do, Cassidy. Okay, so now we know that 3 upstairs tells us, okay, there's 3 ways to choose blue. That 5 downstairs tells us there's 5 total ways to choose. So when we set up our ratio, we're gonna have to consider that, how many ways are there not to choose blue then? 5
Or
take,
5.
yeah, 5 take away 3, there's 5 total ways, 3 ways are choosing blue. This would be 2, and this would be not blue, right? This is the not blue ways. So against blue. So what would our ratio be? 3 to 2. Our ratio then becomes 3 to 2. 3 ways to choose blue, 2 ways not to choose blue. 3 ways in favor of choosing blue, 2 against choosing blue.
I understand.
Okay, why don't you try number 10 on your own, see if you can get it now. See if you can figure out what would you do to get the odds given the probability of 20%. You always want to get it simplified down before you start working with it. Take your fraction, your percent, change it to a fraction. Anybody know how to change these percents to fractions? What do we have to do?
Over.
100, and then simplify them down, right? Like we did up above with 60%, 60 over 100, and we said, oh, well, that can be simplified to 6/10. So I went straight to its fraction. You guys probably need a process to get there. Okay, everybody agree with fraction 1/5? You got that? Okay, what's the 1 representing?
Total chance of not.
What's 1?
Little chance.
Probability of landing on green is 20%.
Landing on green.
Landing on green. What's the 5 tell us?
Ways and spots.
Yeah, there must be 5 total colors, right? So 5 is the, so we have this spinner, it's got 5 colors on it. One of them happens to be green, we don't happen to know what the other colors are right now, it doesn't matter. We're supposed to find the odds in favor of the spinner landing on green. So how many of those spaces are not green?
5.
4. 5 take away 1 is 4, so those are not green. The thing we don't want to happen. So what's our ratio then? What's the
Five.
ratio,
1 to
what's the
4.
odds in favor of the spinner landing on green? 1 spinner landing on green to 4 not landing on green. Okay, a little trickier, isn't it? You're gonna have to think through this. Any questions at the moment? Okay, let's go to work on our homework.